part of doing.
All right.
It's not only like to upskill ourselves and to get some tools.
Hello, hello.
Our came here just in time. See.
Chloe, you're in. I'll just get you to mute though, please.
Yeah, you can just maybe so that yeah, perfect. Yeah. The tripod, the improvised tripod is in our way. I hope you can see anyway. And so yeah, let's introduce each other. We are 5 minutes already started. So maybe we can say our names, our what we are, just to get to know each other. So I'm Tania. And I coordinate North and West area, and I'm in cover. Yeah, and I'm a yoga teacher.
Okay, yeah, I'm Josh. I've been with you for about a year now. I live in Ashwood, so near Chadstone way. Yeah,
How long you been in Fitcare?
about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Gali. I coordinate CBD in St Kilda, and I've been doing so for a whole week now.
Right, I'm Jesse. I've been working for Fitcare for about 3 weeks now. I also run PTs outdoors and in a gym, and also boot camps and boxing sessions outdoors.
Hi everyone, I'm Catalina. I'm from Chile. I've been working with Fitcare family around 1.5 years. And yeah, therapist by trade, so my knowledge to this position.
I'm the managing director. I'm a PT at Backfield Trade.
I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, and I'm just I'm a teacher, and I started back in March. March?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Yang. Thought we could institution maybe. Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, I'm a yoga instructor, and I just started Fitcare for just Fitcare for a couple of weeks now. Yes.
And well, I'm just arriving. We're introducing each other, so you could say your name. Yeah, what do you do? You're a yoga teacher.
My name's Naomi. Sorry to be late today. I teach yoga and I'm also a pastry.
Perfect. Sweet. Okay, here we are. So welcome everyone. Thank you for making the time in your agendas to be here. So what if we start with a centering practice? So if we could all leave things aside, just to sit in a comfortable seat. So sit in a way that it feels comfortable. Sit in a way that feels comfortable, that you're not hinging forward, but you're also not militant straight. And have a lot of light. So we'll start by closing our eyes. And as you close your eyes, notice how you can start to drag your attention within yourself. Start to check in. Notice if there's any body sensations that outstand in your body. You might feel sore in some areas, maybe some kinks in other areas. Just a general body scan. Noticing how you are starting today, how you feel this moment at the beginning of the workshop and the practice that we're going to dive into together. And as you feel your body, you might be able as well to notice if there's any wounds, emotions, or feelings that have been coloring your inner atmosphere today. Can you notice this? Having a sense of curiosity and exploration within yourself. And then noticing how's your mind feeling. Is your mind busy or is it at ease? And even if your mind is jumping from one thing to the other, still with the narrative of what's been happening today, notice how you can bring your attention to what's happening now, the different aspects of your experience right now. So you may start by being aware of the sounds around you. And then noticing once again your body sensations. So feeling your feet. Feeling your calf muscles unwinding around your shin bones. Noticing your knees, your thighs, your hips. A sense of your whole lower body being heavy. A sense of your weight over the chair. And then feeling your back. Notice that you can gently push down through your sit bones and find a longer spine. Then can you keep this attentiveness, alertness in the shape, but add some softness and relax the skin around your eyes. Allow your cheeks to melt down, your jaw to relax from ear to ear, your shoulders and your elbows to soften. You may be even able to feel the weight of your hands over your legs. And in the stillness of your body, you might be able to feel as well the movements of the breath happening naturally. So your belly is relaxed. Just at this stage, feel your breath naturally. We're not intentionally modifying the breath. Notice your natural rhythm. And then start by lengthening the breath, breathing in through the nose, deep breath in. And slow breathe out. More like that, deep breathe in through the nose. How slow you can breathe out. This time, as you inhale, feel that you are getting taller through the spine, deep breath in. And as you exhale, visualize the breath out, making yourself be a little bit more grounded into the earth. Breathing in, getting taller. Breathing out, grounded. Last time, inhale. Exhale. And blink your eyes open. Back. Now we can start. So we're going to be talking today about chair yoga. and chair exercise. So I'm going to do this in a way that suits the yogis all together and all the personal trainers here as well. And the idea of this is like to focus on how we can still work on strengthening and stability while doing the exercises or doing a yoga practice using a chair. And so why to do this and when to use this, like to bring some relevance to what we're doing is, so the cohort of our clients with disabilities, they might not be able to jump right into a full exercise session or a full yoga session. So it's very important in order to keep them motivated and to really help them to work towards their goals and improve, to meet them where they are. And a lot of times that means that we need to learn how to regress our way of teaching them in order to meet them where they are. And so this can be a way of transitioning from where they are towards more challenging exercises. For example, in the yoga world, we can start with a chair yoga practice, help them how to connect their movement and their breath, how to improve in their body awareness. And once they have achieved that, jump into something that might be a little bit more challenging so that they can still have the focus on what's really important. And also when our clients are injured. So most of us have had the experience that our clients have a sprain in their ankle and they want to cancel a session, or they already come to us with an injury, and a way of adapting the sessions and the practice so that they can still be engaged and still work on their fitness, their mobility, their functionality, is to use a chair in a way to support them. Yeah, and also when a lot of our clients are mental health clients, so some of our clients will want to, they are just not feeling like it, and offering them the possibility to have a more low-key session and tell them like, look, we can still work on movement. Using a chair might be something that they would be willing to engage instead of just like shutting the door towards a fitness session. And for yogis, chair yoga is still yoga. You don't have to do acrobatics to be doing yoga, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So it's not about the shape itself, but it's about the inner experience that our yogis are having. So yeah, we're keeping the yoga aspect of it, even if we're using just a chair. And a concept that I wanted to bring into here today as well, so is to like have a clarity of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture a lot of times will be that our clients, what they really need in that day might not be to do a high intensity exercise session, but they might need actually that day to just have a relaxing session, or something that soothes them, or something that helps them to calm down, or maybe they just need to work on soft mobility, you know. So have the bigger picture of what they really need and try to adapt the sessions towards that. So some nice things and like key points to have in mind is to make it an experience, either if it's a yoga practice or if it's a training session. When we do the experience, enjoyable experience, this will help our yogis, our people, our clients. This will help our clients to have like a positive feedback and continue to engage in the future fitness sessions or yoga sessions. So ways of making it a pleasant experience is to work with the outer aspects of the experience. Like for example, have appropriate temperature, have appropriate lighting, like soften the lighting, and make them feel safe. So starting from, we're not going to push them to do things that they don't want to do, up to you're going to be supported, we have props, I'm here with you. So creating a safe environment for them to really engage. And this might be something that sounds like blah blah, but it's really important. at the end, what makes the most impact in them is the experience, the overall experience that they have. So now we're going a little bit more into the technical aspects of it. So chair safety. So here we have, this is the classic chairs that we will recommend you to use. Super important, the chairs to be really sturdy, to be able to handle weight. Of course, no chairs with wheels. And even be aware of the surface that is under the chair. If it's, we need something to create some friction. So if it's tiles, it wouldn't work. It's gonna slide and it might be unsafe. And also, if we think that if we are needing to adapt a session towards a chair yoga session, maybe that person needs a little bit more of awareness in terms of their safety. Maybe they are elderly, or maybe they are coming already with injuries. So really being sure that's safety first. So no wheels, a way of doing friction, if you don't have like a carpet like now, is to put the yoga mat with the four, with all the limits of the chair inside of the yoga mat. It's always comfortable to have some cushion in it. Think that we're going to be sitting for like 45 minutes or an hour, so it's really important for them to have some cushion, otherwise put a cushion there. Ideally to have a flat back. We will see that a lot of our clients, they will tend to hinge backwards, so to have a flat back will help. Sometimes putting blankets on the back, if the back is a bit reclined, to put in a blanket to make it really straight will also help. And that in terms of the safetiness for the chair and how to choose the chair. And then the chair, the posture that we are going to guide them to have in the chair. So the posture will be to come into the front edge, to open the legs a little bit wider than the hips, and the legs to have them a little bit more than 90 degrees. So that will give a bigger base, and it's going to be safer. And you will see our clients that they will tend to hinge forward. So of course, when you cue them to push down through their sit bones, that will help them to have like a long and upright back. Yeah. And just also a few words about props. So we're going to work today with a lot of props. You don't have to have these props for working with props. You can innovate and use alternatives that everyone will have in their house. So for example, for the straps that you will find next to you, you can use an alternative as using belts. And also if the belts is too hard, which in some of the uses that we're gonna give to the belts, we can use long socks, and that will give some resistance. It's better than, for example, using rubber bands. And in terms of the blocks, so the blocks, we can use them for different purposes. Sometimes it's just to give some support, but other times it's because we want something to give them a little bit of extra weight for them to bear. So then we can, if it's support, you can use a couple of like big books. And if it's just about weight, I put there things that I found in my cupboard. So rice or pasta, that's a kilo pasta. So whatever can give a little bit of weight. Even you can use like bottles filled with water, and that should also work. Okay, and so look, I wanted to include so many things in this workshop, but we have limited time, so I'm gonna keep it simple. And I thought about what's the important things for us to have in mind in order to how to structure a practice. Like you are facing the challenge of creating a yoga training or a yoga session or a training in a chair. How would you structure it? And things to have in mind in this regard is these four things. So first, start with centering practices. Even if it's not a yoga session, this will really make the experience for the client better. The client will be more focused. They will be able to follow the cues better. Their mind will be more settled. And what centering practice you can use? So examples? Anyone?
What you just did before.
Exactly. So for example, like an easy body scan, you know, you don't have to be a yoga teacher to know how to do a centering practice, but as a general rule, I would say, is try to bring your attention to the experience now. So what the different aspects of our experience now. So it would be body sensations, sounds, your breath, yeah, body scan, etc. So second, use the breath. Even if you are not a yoga teacher, helping them to synchronize the breath with their movements, first of all, will help them to slow out the movement. So you might have had the experience of our clients jumping super fast repetitions and just being very clumsy and not really putting attention towards the shape. So once you tell them you move with the breath, that will slow down things and they will be able to follow the cues better. As a general idea in terms of breath, slowing down the breath and deepening the breath, it's what's going to bring the most benefits that yoga bring to our nervous system. So this is something that we can transfer to any practice. You know, you can do a training session and have the benefits on calming and settling and feeling relaxed after the training session, just by guiding them on lengthening the breath and deepening the breath. And if you want to go a little bit more in detail, as a general rule as well, when we do movements upwards, so lifting would be synchronized with inhaling. And when we do movements that are grounding, coming closer to the ground, it would be exhale. So we're gonna go through some examples together, no worries about that. And then the last two things important. So focus on your purpose. And this is, I would say, like the big star of this workshop. So when we're doing a shape in yoga, there's something that that we are working with that shape. It might be more than one thing, and we might need to choose one thing that we want to focus. And then that aspect is the one that we take care to keep it when we transform it into a chair yoga exercise. The same with a training session. If you're doing, for example, a lunge, okay, so what are you wanting to do with that lunge? Are you specifically doing the lunge for that person in that moment because you want to work on their lower body strength? Or are you maybe doing a lunge because you want to work on the opening in the hip flexors? So choose one focus of what's your purpose in that exercise? And then from there, transfer that into how can I apply that into a chair? And again, we're gonna do some examples together. And even not only in the physical body. So also when we're doing an exercise, we might have other benefits that we want to bring to this shape that is not in regard to our physical body. For example, we might, as I said before, if your client doesn't want to do a session and you say, hey, I'm offering you a low-key session, should we do maybe some mobility in our chair, in a chair instead? And the client says, oh, look, I would love to have something calming or relaxing today. So maybe that's going to be your purpose that you're going to try to bring into every posture or every exercise that you're going to do in the chair afterwards. And it's okay to vary, it's okay to adapt a training or a session to what they need in that moment. That's exactly our job, to adapt to what they need in that moment. And then a few words in regards to ways of strengthening. And again, here we're gonna go a little bit more technical. I'm not going to say a lot here. Probably all the trainers here know what I'm going to mention now, but for the yogis, maybe we don't. And so we can work on strengthening by holding. That means that we are not shortening and lengthening the muscle, but just holding, and this will be increasing the tension. So strength by holding, and this is called isometric. And then we can strengthen by moving. So again, by shortening and lengthening. So we have these two ways. And some examples of strengthening by holding would be, for example, in the yogic world, just holding a posture. When we hold the posture, we're still working in strengthening. It would be important and even more to bring awareness into cue them, even more because we're in a chair, to cue them to really engage when they're holding. Our body is very smart and it will try to keep a posture just by balancing. So then we will need to be constantly reminding them to hug the muscles into the bone, to really be engaging the muscles and still be working on strengthening. And then ways of strengthening by moving in the yogic world would be like the sun salutations or the vinyasas, warm-ups. In the training world would be like repetitions, just when we are like, as I said before, shortening and lengthening. Yep. So having this in mind, let's all be part of this. And I'm going to divide from Edwin to the right and from Canela to the left, or maybe the other side with you, but you understand, like this. So that side of the room, can you show a strengthening practice sitting in a chair as you are, that does not have movement? And so basically is how to hold a posture in one position. Yeah. And from Canela, this way, can you think of a strengthening practice sitting in the chair where you are, that there's some flow of movement? Okay, so moving and strengthening. We can be creative. You all have a paper next to it. You're not on the spot. We feel confident with each other. Okay. So let's start by here. Karen, can you show us? Like we're gonna all do it together and be showing so that we can see.
Just holding onto the chair onto the sides, engaging the core, and bringing one leg up and hold.
Perfect. And you hold the leg there. And after a while, if you hold a couple of breaths, as I said, that we're going to use breath as a way of like guiding our practice and keep a rhythm in the practice, that will be definitely strengthening. No? Naomi?
I was gonna say a twist, so just like through your spine, using the core muscles to turn.
Perfect. And if you do that, we'll definitely have to bring some awareness into really using the core muscles and not be just like holding ourselves in the twist. No, because we can definitely just hold ourselves and like be like pushing ourselves into a twist. And there's much more easier ways. Ying?
Mine would be quite similar to this. It's like both poses, but like also more on the quads and the core as well. Depends how you do it. You can do it on the quads, like maybe just this, or you can hold onto something and then start leaning backward or lifting like
Perfect.
something. But also, yeah,
That chair is not sturdy. We shouldn't use that chair. Yeah, but definitely. Okay, just leaning back, no? Then we're holding again. And if you hold there for a couple of breaths, you will be working on strengthening. Donna, do you have any?
I would take the hands on my back, shoulder, just squeezing the shoulders and opening the chest.
Okay. Yes.
Sorry.
It's very hard to grasp.
A side, open up all the hips across, so putting your hand down on the leg, plugging the back in.
Perfect. And Edwin?
We get a client to visualize having a tennis ball underneath their armpits and squeezing, and they'll get that motion.
Okay. Okay, good. And I'm going to pause there before going to the other side. And have in mind when we think about this, that we have gravity in our favor, so we can use in the chair, just for example, a strengthening practice, like without being fancy, just doing like this, eventually will be an event like a strengthening practice, you know, or holding the block, again, the same. Or yeah, like as you said, girls, bringing the legs up or leaning back, all what you said is perfect. So from there to this side, now we're gonna be a little bit more creative on, okay, just movements that could involve some strengthening practice in it. So Canela, can you start?
Yeah, just you could do it with bands or just light weights in the hand, squeezing, really holding for a little bit and slowly going forwards. But actually envisioning that you've got a really heavy weight that you're pulling, so you're not just moving like that.
Exactly.
It's really working muscles through that range of motion, holding for a bit and then pushing it forward. You can actually feel that working.
Perfect. And you know, a lot of things that when we show it and we think about it, we feel it like this is not an exercise, I'm not really strengthening. But remember that we have different clients. And if we need to adapt the session to a chair, probably this will be a strengthening practice for our clients. Kata?
Where there are so many exercises for doing like in movement with chair.
Just one.
So I would say engaging core and taking advantage that we are stable we can bring one arm and one the opposite leg and holding.
Perfect.
So you are
So I'm gonna do this just for the people in the video to see. Okay.
a pattern of opposition for different change of muscle, core.
Perfect.
Cross body, and you can do it then. Yeah.
So
It's for posture, core, and flexors.
Jesse?
Maybe just use a band and sort of just side raises up to the sides
Yeah.
slowly.
Perfect. And if you put the band, that's going to be adding a little bit of resistance, but even just doing arms up and arms down, that's already movement. And we will have some obese clients that just their arms is already weight that they're carrying, and just like bringing the arms up and down would be enough. Dali?
Your legs, maybe just up and down.
Perfect.
Or this way for the easier version, this way for another version, circle.
Movement practice that we're working on strengthening. And last,
Yeah, maybe with the
Josh?
core, just a dumbbell or something, and just twisting your body each side.
perfect,
Yeah.
interesting. To one side, to the other, and then we're using the core muscles, isn't it? Sweet. Okay, so we all participated. But we can get the idea of it, no? And now we're gonna practice together. So what I'm gonna do, yes. So what we're gonna do, we all have like a paper next to you with some exercises. So we're going to briefly go through them just in honor of time. And these are just some examples, but we could, some examples, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to start by grabbing your straps. So these are unusual straps. I've never seen straps like this before, but they're actually easier. So just plug them. Yes. Be sure that. Sorry for the ones that are missing. No worries. And so just be sure that it's like as wide as your shoulders or less, but not wider than your shoulders. So for that, you just have to pull the tail of the strap. That's it. And so hold it in a way that the strap is in between your thumbs and the rest of the fingers. So elbows as straight as possible and arms in the level of your shoulders, just to bring a little bit more of difficulty. We're all here. And now, again, push down through your sit bones, find that long spine. See if you can squeeze shoulder blades together in the back and pull the arms to the side. Like if you really wanted to tear apart the strap, so pulling to the sides. And can you breathe in through your nose and slowly breathe out through your nose. 4 more breaths, deep breathe in. Engage with the belly at the end of the exhale, slow breathe out. Keep pulling to the sides, don't let go, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Keep pulling, inhale. Belly in as you exhale. Last one, inhale, get tall through your spine. Exhale, belly in. And relax. So probably you already feel your shoulders and your arms getting warm, and that's what we want, strengthening. Then we could add some movement. So this would be strengthening by holding. We're not doing anything, no? And now we could add some movement and bring the arms down, continue to pull down to the sides, and then the arms up. Down, exhale. Up, inhale. How soft you can exhale. Keep pulling to the side, strongly inhale. And then come back to the center, exhale. Okay, good. So there you have an example of using props, strengthening by holding, strengthening by moving. Now, this might be enough wide for most of you. You might need to make it a bit wider for The girls a little bit shorter maybe. Just put it as if you were putting hands on. And once you're there, pull the strap so that it's not, your legs are not wider than your hips. And the same idea we just did with the arms. So can you come into the neutral position I said at the beginning? So the legs slightly forward than 90 degrees and slightly more open than your hips. And now first have the sensation that you push down through your feet. Now pull to the sides with your legs. And now engage your low belly. So pelvic floor up. And just stay there, creating that tension. Deep breathe in. Slow breathe out. Deep breathe in. Slow breathe out. Last one, deep breath. Keep pulling, breathe out. And relax. Okay, good. Take this out, leave it on the side. And bring the glove towards you. So we have a heavy one and a soft one. So bring the heavy one. Maybe this is like, how much do you say, like 2 kilos? 1 kilo maybe? One? Okay. So just bringing hands, hold it like this. And again, so we're gonna do the reverse movement. So can you push into the center? We can engage the whole body just by cueing. So pushing down through your legs, belly in, long spine, and really push strongly into the center. And then deep breath, get longer. Breathe out, belly in. So keep pushing into the center. What I tell to clients like this is I shouldn't be able to see any space in between your hands and the blood. Usually they will just hold it like this. So keep pushing within and breathe out. And then we're going to extend the arms to the front, deep breath in. Keep pushing to the center and bring it back, create that tension. Keep going, breathe in. Keep pushing into the center as we bring it back. One more, extend. Keep pushing, stay, breathe out. And then breathe in, arms up. And down, breathe out. Long spine, breathe in, raise. Keep pushing into the center as we breathe out. Last one, deep breathe in. And breathe out, release. And relax everything. And just doing this little pause in between exercise and exercise will help them to work towards proprioception. So even in between exercise, to ask them to close their eyes and to feel the effect in their body, to feel how the warmth in their muscles is changing. They might start to feel like energy flow in their bodies. So yeah, I will always encourage you to do that in between. And so let's go now to our legs, the same in our legs. So here, if it's a bit cranky to use the hard one, you can use the other one. And once again, so push into the center, engage the low belly, push down through your sit bones, push forward and down through your feet. And long spine, not in the back of on the back of the chair. That's it. So that you can also be working on your back, on your belly. That's it. And just holding here, I'm gonna do it briefly just because I want to keep moving, but you understand the idea, no? We can do the same in our legs. And then just because we are already here, let's move towards chair pose. So this length might not be comfy for some of us, and you might want to put it like this. So check it out, what feels better for you. I like the long one. And so I'm going to move to the side, not because I want you to do it, just for you to see me. So for chair pose in chair, we'll need to bring the feet a little bit closer, and we're gonna cue them to push into the center. This will help them to engage the pelvic floor, and we're gonna start to lean forward, telling them not to hinge forward, to lean forward. So always keeping that long spine and open chest, lean forward. And depending on their ability, I usually start just by bringing the bottom up and keeping the hands on the side, just to test their balance. This is a pose that might be risky for some of our clients that don't have balance, and they might just fall forward. So we don't want that. Keep the hands on the side first and tell them to tap just for balance, not for their body weight. Squeezing into the middle, long spine, open chest, and then down. and then tap up, breathe in, breathe out, down. Tap up, breathe in, squeezing the blood, and down. Good. And now with the hands, if they are capable to, we incorporate the hands as well. And we could even use another block. We all can, so we are gonna do it. So holding the block in the center, that's it. Start to lean forward, squeeze the block in between your legs, bring the arms up, and deep breathe in. Hug your tailbone, breathe out, engage the low belly. Stay there, deep breathe in. Breathe out, sit. So we just did 2 breaths, and we might all have felt the warmth in our legs. Yeah, chair pose is a good way of transitioning into standing. We can do, and it's totally fine to do standing poses in the chair. That's okay. We still use the chair as a prop for stability and support if they need it.
They can't stand up, Joel. Okay, just push and lean forwards and just lift slightly up, so they're still using the same muscles.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's why I did the first variation at the beginning. It might be just like this, you know.
But even if they can't get out of the chair, they just tense like this.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just tensing at the beginning and then tapping up and then coming up and maybe then holding. Good. And
So bring your feet a little bit closer, and that helps.
exactly. So for chair pose, we
Yeah,
always bring
start
them
actually.
closer for balance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like this, it's much more difficult. We can intuitively feel it in the body.
Yeah.
And so let's do a little of exercises for our forearms. Okay. So again, bringing the arms in the front, level the shoulders, opening the fingers wide and really tense them. So imagine that you want to create space in between your fingers, really open, and then as if you were squeezing a very hard ball, start to do close. So it's so hard to do it close, so hard, and then open it wide, and against resistance, close, and then opening wide against resistance, and again, close and open. Keep it, and then bring everything together, and like that. So bringing the fingers together and open, creating some tension as we do this. 2, 3, 2 more. Okay, and then creating fists and bringing the fist down and up and down and bringing the knuckles very close to you and then down. And you might start to feel a warmth in your forearms and then shake it. So that's also a way of also practicing in the lower arms for our clients. And a couple more postures that we're going to go through. So we're going to work in some balance postures. So eagle pose. So eagle pose is a standing posture that challenges balance. But in a chair, even though it might feel for us that it's not, it is. Just the fact of taking our limbs away and squeezing everything into the center line, it creates a challenge because limbs are there also to help us keep balance. That's why when we do balance, we open our arms, no? So for doing eagle pose, we'll put the feet a little bit farther front. Then we're gonna put the right leg over the left and see if we can bring the toes to the ground or the intention of the toes to the ground. If this is too unstable for our clients, we can always use a block under the toe and tell them to feel the stability by having the toes in the block, okay? Yep. And then the legs, we want to feel them that they're squeezing into the middle line. We're gonna open the arms wide. And if the right leg is over, we're gonna bring the right arm under. So hug yourself first and see how that feels for the client. And tell them to squeeze everything into the center. So we are creating some tension. And then if this is easy and you do a couple of breaths here, we can explore bringing the back of the palms together. For super flexible people, you can bring the palms together. Or if even this is not comfy for our clients, an option will be to bring the back of the palm that is under against the elbow. And this happens a lot in women that have more breast or clients are a little bit more overweight. they might need to do this. So here we will tell them to pull and create that tension against elbow, against hand, and at the same time to be squeezing the legs, and you hold for a couple of breaths. So let's do 2 breaths together. Deep breathe in. Bringing the shoulders far from the ears as you breathe out, and pulling the shoulders to the front. Breathe in. Everything into the middle line, breathe out. One more, inhale long through the spine, open chest, and belly in, breathe out. Okay, and relax. And what happened to Ed, for example, Ed, can you show this again? So there, what we can use is a strap or a sock. And so there we are filling up that gap between arm and arm. Okay, that's always a possibility. And that happens a lot with clients. Yeah, and let's move now. There's another balance posture that I wanted to do. That is it's a standing posture, but I'm gonna keep it to the end just if we have enough time. So let's do a bit of core muscles. So I'm going to turn around. Yeah. So we're gonna do some like Navasana for the yogis. Just work on core muscles for the trainers. So how will we do that? These chairs have the sides that get into the way. This would not happen if it's just like a classic chair like people have in their houses. So I'm going to make as if this is not here. And so the legs into the side. Once again, always starting from a long spine. What will tend to happen is that our clients will start to lean backwards by hinging forward. So I will always really cue them that that's not what we want them to do. So hands in level with your shoulders. Now retraction of your scapula. So open your chest. If the shoulders went up to the ears, drop them down, belly in, and start leaning backwards. Just until they feel the shaking or that their muscles are engaged. Maybe this is enough, and we will just keep them there holding for us several breaths. Maybe this is too easy, and we'll tell them to bring one leg up, hold for a couple of breaths, and then down, and then the other leg up. And a way of cueing them not to hinge their chest is that I tell them, imagine that you have a rope that is pulling you to the ceiling from your chest. Okay, and come back. And then we can even here add some challenges. So just to work a little bit more in the pelvic floor as well, if we cue them to pull into the middle line, when we do this, we are making sure that they're really engaging pelvic floor and low belly. And then we can even add more challenge and have the other block on their hands. And then we can still bring one leg up, squeezing the block in between your legs and down. The other leg up, squeezing, squeezing, and down. And then coming back up, arms up, breathe in, and leaning backwards, breathe out. And then we're doing strengthening by moving. Down, and up, and down. And come back up, and release. Good. Yeah. And so just to continue working on core muscle, but also adding like a part of twisting. So the neutral pose that we said that it was leg forwards, a little bit wider than the hips, pushing down to have this rebound up, and then hands in your chest. And just working this simple of twisting to the right and making the hands stay in the center. So twisting in a way that we're engaging the core muscles instead of just bringing the hands to the side and have the illusion that we're working the core muscles. The gaze will go over the right shoulder, and that helps them to continue the movement and then come back to the center. Deep inhale. Exhale, squeeze the belly to the left. Back to the center, inhale. And to the right, exhale. Back to the center, inhale. And to the left. And back to the center, and release. So one thing that I want to say in terms of safety with this is that something to consider when we're doing chair yoga or chair exercise is that we're limiting the mobility of the hips. And in people that have the sacroiliac SI dysfunction or low back pain, just be aware of allowing flexibility with the legs when we're doing the movement. So usually when we do twisting in a yoga session, we will tell them to keep the hips to the front, so just to twist from the upper body. So here we won't. We will allow them to bring the legs with them so that we can allow that certain mobility in the sacroiliac joint that is not supposed to have mobility at all, or very few. Yes, and now we're going to do another variation also of like starting to go into flowing. So bringing the legs wider. So in yoga, this would be goddess pose, bringing the hands as a cactus. And here, just like engaging far. So imagine that your arms are magnetizing behind you. So you can feel your shoulder, between your shoulder blades, like getting warm already. Not leaning in the back in the chair. That's it. Lazy Edwin. He's cheating all the time. Okay, and from here, we're going to breathe in, get long. Breathe out, keep this openness and twist to the right. Breathe in, come back to the center. Twist to the left. Breathe in, come back to the center. So there, squeeze back, shoulders down. And we're gonna start to exhale and lean to the right. Come back, inhale. Exhale to the left. So we're working on side core, come back to the center. To the right, and listen here, we're gonna bring the right forearm in the thigh, and the upper arm will extend to the side. So really feel that you are pushing strongly through the legs to ground your sit bones, and then from the left sit bone, if you can rebound this and reach far away in the diagonal. So the pinky finger is looking down, and then come back to the center, open. Crunch to the left. Bring the forearm in the thigh. Push down through your sit bones and lengthen the hand above and across the head. Come back to the center, breathe in, and twist to the right. Back to the center, inhale. Keep squeezing shoulder blades to the left. Back to the center, and there we can go forever and continue, okay? Good. And now we're gonna do the last two poses in 3 minutes. So, yeah. So just because I think that that's gonna be useful to have them and to use them. So we're gonna do warrior one, how to adapt, well, lunge. We're gonna do a lunge adaptation to the chair. And so lunge, the same for trainers. So here, we see it like this. What we're going to do is that we're going to open the left leg to the side, okay? And we're going to move our hips so that our hips are moving to the side. Or actually, an easier way of cueing this is just move to the side completely. And once you're here, bring one sit bone out of the chair. So you're just having one sit bone in the chair and one out. And then you bring the right foot back, touch your toes. And here's where you can have the option, if the client needs it, to use support, okay? In the knee, exactly. Or well, if you're super tall, you're gonna be able to get into the ground, but that's not supposed to happen. If that happens, what we can do is to put a blanket in the seat so that the seat is higher if the chair is too low. Yes, so that's okay. Sit in the block? Yeah, that will also be okay to sit in the purple one probably. Okay, and so here, going back to what we said before of focusing in the purpose. If my purpose is, okay, I just want to release a little bit the hip flexors, I might have a lot of support, have them holding themselves in the chair, and just tell them to bring the right leg as back as possible, feeling that they are kicking back, just to have that stretching in the front hip. So engaging the right bottom, kicking back through the right heel. If I want to work with them in balance, I will tell them maybe release the chair only if I think that is safe, and tell them if they can come up and down, just a little bit, up and down. And then if I want to work on strength, the same, and maybe I will hold. I will tell you to hold, and then you align the lunge as you would usually do it, and then come down. And we can do this with the breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. So inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, slowly come down. And then we can even add one more challenge.
Sorry, can I just ask you, because I've got osteoarthritis in that big toe, so I can't do that. So if my client had bad feet like that, would you just keep them in this position?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
So with osteoarthritis, we don't want these like micro traumas.
Yeah.
And the pushing that they will be doing in that joint will be detrimental for them.
Yeah.
So supporting the posture for them.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring a little bit more of a challenge here, we would hold also a block. Again, moving and strengthening. And here we will be working on strengthening, on balance, on stretching. As you come up and breathe in, bring the arms up next to your ears. And as you come down, the arms down. If we even want to challenge the balance more, we follow the gaze with the blow. So eyes up as we come up, and gaze down as we come down. Again, breathe in, up and down. Sweet. That's our lunge or warrior A adapted. And last one, yes. So we're gonna do a warrior 2. So this is the lunge usually that we will do in a yoga session. Warrior 2 would be a 90-degree angle, sometimes 45, extended by back leg and a bent front leg. So this would be warrior 2, yes. So we're gonna do that in the chair. It's very difficult for someone to have the flexibility enough to do this, such an opening in the hips. So what's important for us here is that the hips are opening in a different way as when we do the lunge, that hips are facing forward. In the warrior 2, hips are facing to the side. So we just keep that in the chair. We sit. This time, both feet bones are in the chair. The front leg can be extended. If that's too, it feels like unstable for the client, we can tell them to keep it bent. That's it. But if we're gonna do it properly today, we're gonna extend the front leg as much as we can. The left leg will be open to the side, bent. And we're gonna open the arms with the palms looking down. That's it. So shoulders far from the ears, push down through your sit bones, belly in, and gaze goes in the middle finger of the front, so on the side of the bent leg. And this would be our warrior 2, and we can hold this for several breaths. Then we can add this into a flow, and for example, peaceful warrior, that would be drop the right hand, bring the left arm up, and feel that length in the side body, breathe in. Come back to warrior 2, breathe out. And then we're gonna go to a side extended angle. So the left elbow over the left thigh and bringing the arm to the front, above and across. And then back into warrior 2. And then peaceful warrior. And then side extended angle, elbow over the thigh. And then peaceful warrior. Flowing and strengthening. And back to warrior 2. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to do tree pose as well. We're in time.
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah. So just to use it as balance, there's so many different ways of doing tree pose in a balanced way. So in the paper, you're gonna find some. Here, we will use the chair as our support. So tree pose. So we're just gonna bring the toes of one foot into the inner ankle of the other and open the knee to the side. And if you try to do this, you will already feel that the balance is challenged. Now, can you add to zip the pubic bone to find like a longer spine? And this might be it for our client. Maybe our client is able to do more, and you will tell them, okay, bring now the toes out of the ground into below your knee. So important, and you will tend a lot. They will try to put them in the knee. That's not what we want. If they fall, they will injure their knee. So under the knee, and maybe this is even easy, and they're gonna put it over the knee. Okay, we'll have the sole of our shoes in our legs, but that's okay. And here you can play. You're holding yourself. Maybe you want to challenge even more the balance and play with leaving, like bringing the hand out and coming back. If this is easy, you can tell them to bring the hands into your chest. If this is easy, you can play and do a flow with your arms to play with the balance and back down. And options would be also to use the chair as a support for the leg. This is it's hard, this chair, so it's quite painful in the shin. But you could put a blanket if that happens to make it better. And then another option, coming back into a chair to play with a figure 4 tree pose, would be to bring the foot over the legs, and then to bring more challenging the balance here would be to bring the block on top and maybe just the toes over it. Not a lot of clients will be able to do this in terms of their flexibility in their hips, but this is an option and it can be done. And then you can play with other aspects of balance. So balance will not only be for like certain muscles of our body, but it also has to be with the possibility of our brain to adapt to balance, to find its way. So then, for example, putting gloves in their hands and they have to play with that will also help into adding this challenging the balance into the posture. And yeah, so just to end, up to now, is there any questions? No? Good. I hope that's a good thing. And so, Shavasana's adaptations. So I said that one important thing is to do a centering practice at the beginning and at the end. So at the end, we would do Shavasana. That is just about like allowing our clients to relax. After a training session, the client will be tired, maybe exhausted. And that's a very good moment to have their mind be more settled and calmer. So a lot of the benefits will just be taken from having this centering practice at the end. In the yogi world, it's my favorite posture, definitely. And we have had some experiences of some clients that they can't be in the ground doing Shavasana. You remember Naomi? Naomi's working with a client that when we tried to do Shavasana in the ground, he couldn't. He wouldn't like let go. So then these are options of adapting Shavasana into a chair. Folding a blanket and putting it in your neck will allow the same effect as being like in the airplanes with these like pillows. And then if it's a long blanket and you allow this blanket to go under your armpits, it will get very like stable to just let go of your neck. Okay. Then options is to put a bolster in the back. Option is to raise the legs. So it's like the same idea of being like in buses and that they put the legs higher. Putting a bolster on top of you have a very grounding sensation as well. So sometimes I ask them, I put something that is a weight on top of them and it makes them feel like, nice and cozy. And if you're going to use a second chair, it's very important to put something under the knees, like a pillow or a bolster, so that it makes it that the knees are bent because the knees will tend to hyperextend. Yeah, so Shavasana variations, I took this from Accessible Yoga book of Jivana Heyman. Just to be sure that I'm not abusing copyrights. And yeah, so, okay, before going here, one thing that I want to say, why it's important to keep the strength aspect of a practice, either a training or a yoga session, because strengthening is very important for us. It's very important even more when you are getting old. Weight bearing helps to keep our bones and our muscles healthy. It even helps to avoid osteoporosis when we are getting old. And actually studies have shown that weight bearing strengthening legs in the lower body is related with higher expectancy of life and better quality. So all these aspects of yoga that I said, be sure of exercise in general, that I said, be sure that you have a proper and clear idea of what's your purpose, relaxing or calming. Strengthening is also very important. And I think that one of the most easy things to do to lose when we are doing a practice is that we lose the strengthening aspect of it. And just to finish, so remember, you can transfer any exercise into a chair format using the key points I mentioned before. So what's your focus in that posture or exercise, and how to work on the same muscles using the idea of strengthening by holding or moving, strengthening by holding or strengthening by moving, and knowing that you can use props to support this. That's it.
Thank you, Tania. That was amazing. Thank you all for coming as well.
Yeah,
Really
thank you
appreciate
everyone
it.
for coming. And you might want to. So if everyone could put, yeah, their chair back and all that.
Sorry, guys, for just. So sorry.
That's all right, I just need to get myself
Yeah,
inside.
of course, of course.